Hello, everybody, and welcome to Smart Women Read Romance, a book review podcast where we fangirl over all things romance. I'm Juliette.
And I'm Jessen.
And today we'll be reviewing Dirty Exes by Rachel Van Dyken, the first book in her Dirty Exes duet. But before we dive in, you guys, please go hit that subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on your preferred podcast platform, and please rate and review us. It really helps others to find us. Jessen and I love getting feedback from our listeners, so follow us on our social media pages at SWReadRom. If you're looking for some extras, join our Patreon for access to exclusive giveaways, a look behind the scenes of our episodes, and exclusive content, including monthly videos featuring Q&As and some fun games. Special shout out to our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. We appreciate you supporting the podcast. Alrighty, so let's chit-chat before we get into it. What's going on with you?
Well, okay, so last weekend I had one of the best, reading weekends I've had in a long time.
Which I've heard about all week long, by the way.
I was just bored. So I try to fit in as much. If you follow me on Instagram, I always do a quick review on Monday of what I've read throughout the week.
I love your quick reviews.
Thanks. I try to, keep that going. And it also holds me accountable for actually writing a review for books all the time.
That's too much high maintenance for me, guys. I'm like, oh, look at all the stuff Jessen's doing. That's awesome. I'm just going to go click on mine on Goodreads. Read it.
That was a goal. That was kind of like a resolution for me to try to actually review, even if it's just 2 paragraphs on Goodreads.
I love seeing what you have to say about things because then
But I also thought hey, this is kind of my recommendation for listeners. If they like the books that we review, then maybe they'll like the books that I rate 4 and 5 stars.
Yeah,
that's what we
don't
review.
get to podcast every single
exactly. But I do find some potential ones that might be on the podcast. So I had a really good weekend. I had the majority of my books were 4 and 5 stars. I actually think the majority were 5 stars, which I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, it was crazy. But anyway, the first book that I read, I think this was a 4.5 star book, was Center of Gravity and by K.K. Allen. And it just I remember I was sitting down on Saturday morning because I wake up super early. I'm weird. And it reminded me of a 90s movie, Center Stage. And I had it recorded on the TV. So I put it on while I was reading because I'm a multitasker. I like to do both.
She does. She always has something on in the background.
Yeah. I always have music or a movie on in the background because I need both. But anyway, and I was just thinking, man, I love 90s movies so much. Yeah. 90s movies are the best movies ever.
Wait, hold up. Wait a minute. What did you just say?
Oh
my
no.
God.
Are you challenging
stop.
me? 90s movies are the best.
80s movies are the best.
Whatever, Rat Pack. Whatever, Rat Pack.
Please, Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles.
Squeeze me. I have a lot to say about Pretty in Pink. There's a very creepy element in there. But anyway.
There's a lot of creepy elements in the John Hughes
Breakfast
movies.
Club, I'll give it to you, but I'm sorry.
Breakfast Club,
Center
so
Stage, 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, I do love that one.
Clueless. I mean,
I love Clueless. As if.
Oh my God. I could do a whole mini-sode on 90s movies.
Oh yeah.
They went through that phase too of doing Jane Austen and Shakespeare retellings. And I love that one.
Isn't Mean Girls 90s? Is Mean Girls 90s or is that in the 2000s?
I think it's early 2000s.
Yeah. That's actually coming to the Sanger next year. We're going. You want to come with us?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're doing a girls trip.
I definitely want to go.
Okay.
Definitely.
It's going to be fun.
Yay. Girls trip just planned right here on the podcast.
There we go.
I just want to go to more plays in the Sanger though, honestly.
Yeah.
That's basically
where
I'm at in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm at in my life. Okay. Well, I guess that's enough about us because we have a lot to talk about in this podcast. We're going to start talking about Dirty Exes. Juliette's going to start us off.
Here we go. Okay, so Dirty Exes is a multiple POV where we get the perspective of our 3 MCs. Yeah, that's right. 3, because this is a love triangle. What? Oh my God. It kind of threw me for a loop too. Rachel Van Dyken puts a unique spin on the trope, which we won't talk about until we get into the spoiler section of the podcast, because there's lots to talk about. This steamy romance has the perfect balance of sexual tension and witty banter, exploring the characters' romantic relationships while handling individual character growth with care.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
So love triangles. You might be saying, really?
Come on now.
Are you going to do that?
That's so old school.
Yeah. I know. I didn't even know that it was a love triangle, quote unquote, until I started reading it, because I think just a person that I follow on Goodreads that I really respect their reviews. And I'm like, I like the things that they like.
Yeah.
So I picked up this book and I'm like, I'm going to try Dirty Exes. This was my first book by Rachel Van Dyken that I've ever read. Yeah. And then I started reading and I get one POV, the heroine's POV, and then I get a hero's POV. And I was like, good, I like this. And then I get another POV and I'm like, wait who is this second guy? I'm like, wait, no.
What is going on?
So I was like kind of floored and I was like, I don't like this because I don't care for love triangles. I don't want it because I don't want the angst that comes with it, and I also don't like it if like the heroine or the hero is caught between two women that he's actually like kind of dating both of them and like kind of leading one on. I don't like that. I don't like the whole leading someone else on intentionally because you just can't make a fucking decision. But that's not what this is. I don't think this is what this is at all. I mean, are love triangles something that you enjoy? Is that something you gravitate toward? Or
I do not gravitate toward them. However, the way this one is done, I freaking love this book in the way that it's done. Because like you said, there's never any kind of cheating or leading on going on. It's kind of like figuring shit out, like who, you know what I mean? Like,
and we'll get into like more detail in like the spoiler section. We'll talk about her handling of the love triangle, but we just got to say that it's unconventional. Very. We like the way that she handled it because at first I was like, my first reaction was like, do I want to finish this book? Yeah, but and I was like, I'm being so biased. I'm like, just read it, Jessen.
But I remember when you recommended it to me, and you're like, Juliette, there's 3 POVs. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I'm like, I told her. I was like, there's 2 potential guys. And I'm curious to know which one you're going to root for.
And I rooted for the right one, just like you.
We're not going to say anything. So anyway, Rachel Van Dyken just has a different style. Really want to get into that in the spoiler section. So I'm going to talk about our main characters and just a little bit about them because I can't spoil too much. So we have our heroine, Blaire. She is a lover scorned, guys. I like this trope.
Oh, yeah.
And even though it's been done or said, I mean, you can't just like, no, this is like one of the most classic tropes. We love this.
Yes.
So after walking in on her husband with her best friend, Blaire just walked right back out.
So bad.
So instead of getting closure, she started a PI business to uncover the cheaters of LA, which I'm like, fuck yes.
Awesome. So awesome.
You expose those cheaters.
Best revenge.
Exactly. And then we have Jesse. He's an ex-NFL quarterback and Blaire's former flame. They bump into each other on the streets of LA just as Blaire is feeling ready to move out of her like wallowing stage. The, messy bun, the sweat stage.
It cracks me up so much.
I love it. Licorice hanging out of her pockets.
She's hilarious.
I love Blaire. And he asked her for her number and a reconnection seems possible. And then while Blaire is out on a stakeout for a client, she meets Colin, a flirty bartender with a man bun and a snake tattoo. Whose playful demeanor is as amusing as much as it is exasperating. And that's it. That's all you get. I can't say any more because I will spoil things.
That's it, guys.
So I'm sorry, we can't talk about it anymore. We will be moving on to the spoiler section right now.
Spoilery time.
If you have not read this book, please go read it and then come back and chat with us because we really want to chat about this book. It's amazing. Awesome. Please give this book a chance. And that's it. All right, guys. We are officially in spoiler territory. So, first up, the showdown. As always, showdown, baby. Okay,
Jessen, I got
my scene. I'm ready.
Let's go.
Okay, so my showdown scene is Blaire goes to Colin's penthouse. And this is actually the morning after swing cunnilingus happens. So actually it's kind of like 2 scenes bleeding into one because I couldn't separate one from the other, honestly.
That should be a hashtag, by the way, swing cunnilingus.
Yeah, I'm like, let's trend this. Yeah. Everyone should experience swing cunnilingus. And so in the middle of the night, Colin kind of wakes up and he's just kind of looking at Blaire and he just like thinking about how he kind of met this one person that makes him want to like, it sounds cliche, believe in love again.
Yeah.
But I like the way that this plays out because she wakes up and she's like, what are you doing? And he was just like, just looking at you, whatever. But then she ends up by just like rubbing his hair because it's so long, like his Tarzan hair, quote unquote. And what happens is she like tucks him in, like pulls a duvet. They don't do anything. They haven't even had sex besides the swing cunnilingus. And she just like pulls a duvet over him and like rubs his head. And he says, I fell asleep with her hands in my hair and her heart burrowing even deeper into my soul. And I'm like, oh. And then whenever they actually wake up in the morning, it's like the morning after, and he doesn't want her to leave. And so he's like, I'll make you breakfast. Like, and she's like, oh, okay, I guess. Because like she's like a hard cookie to crack. Like she's been burned. And so it's very,
she's got a hard shell.
Yeah,
definitely.
Exactly. Colin has to work for it. So he makes her eggs. I mean, he burns a couple before. He's like, you got to go over there because I can't concentrate.
So awesome.
And then he makes her eggs and then he gives it to her. And then he's like, well, I got to go shower because, you know, got to do my bartender thing, which also I love that he's the owner, but he also likes to actually work.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
But then she's like, where are you going? Your eggs are going to get cold. And he says, oh, I don't eat eggs. I just have them for baking. And first of all, I picked this scene because I also don't like eggs.
This is why you love Colin so much.
I think it's because it's like that act of love. It's like making something that you don't even like for a person that you know they like it. And it's just because I want to spend more time with you. And I'm just like, oh my God, Colin. And honestly, that part of him making her something that he doesn't even like throws her for a loop because she's like, what does this mean? What does this mean?
Yes.
Why would he do this? Like,
why is Colin making me eggs? What is he doing?
Like, I don't know if it has a deeper meaning or if this is just I want to get in your pants.
Yeah.
And so like, I just like what that sets off because he is being so genuine and she's still filling it out. But this is like, we already know what Colin wants in this scene.
Yes.
He wants forever. He doesn't want her to leave, and he says that. I would just want you to stay. And I'm just like, fuck
God.
yes, Colin.
Yes.
I fucking love Colin
Y'all,
so
Colin's,
much.
You know what? And again, I keep doing this every single time I think about our book boyfriend list. I'm like, why didn't I put Colin on my book boyfriend list? Because when I reread for the podcast, I was like, oh my God, he's so hot.
That's the problem about reviewing books that you love. It's like everyone that we review, all these main characters deserves their time in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Because they're so amazing.
We're going to do a part 2 book boyfriend list. I'm just telling you. We have to.
I think now that we've done our ultimate book boyfriends, we should do our 2019 book boyfriends. You know what I'm saying? Like every year.
Books we've read in 2019, not like 2019
and
releases.
I actually made on Goodreads, like a shelf that says 2019 reads. So
oh God, she's going to start coming down on me now.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be like, get organized, Juliette.
Shit.
So anyway,
all right.
Give me your
showdown scene. Okay. I feel like we flip-flop this time because usually I do like one of these like deeper, blah, blah, emotional, and you do the playful ones. Well, I'm doing the playful one.
I love playful ones though.
I picked the one when they first meet.
Oh, I love that scene though.
This scene is the cutest,
hilarious,
meet cute I have ever, like y'all, I'm just like, I'm dying.
I do like it.
So she is going to spy on Jessie, who is her new target because she's a PI.
Yeah, she just found out that Jessie's actually her target. And so that's why she ducks.
So she walks into the bar. She's in like this little black dress and her heels because she's supposed to like sort of seduce the target and try to get him to cheat or like whatever.
Be bait.
Just be
see
bait.
See if they'll take the bait.
Take the bait. Well, she sees him and so she falls on all fours behind the bar. And then all of a sudden, this cute bartender is on all fours beside her is like, blind date?
Yeah.
She's like, what are we doing? She's like, something like that, you know? And then she's like, you know, I'm a cop.
Okay,
yeah, I'm a cop. And he's like, okay. He says, all right, say for 1 second I believe you. What the hell are you doing on the floor? She's like, spying. I rolled my eyes. His grin was really cute. And so then she starts noticing his man bun and he's totally playing it up. You know, he's like, well, what would you like to drink since you're down here? So he goes and gets her a drink. She's like, ooh, it's top shelf. Thank you.
Yeah, like, and he's like, only best for my partner.
That's
only
right.
The best for my partner.
So he's totally playing up this whole like,
they're having into this. Like she's legit hiding behind his bar.
And it's not
he's
like they're
going
just
along
like,
with it.
Yeah, y'all, it's not like they're just like having a little conversation. He's like down on all fours and she's like, is this Knob Creek? Good mouth. You know, like they are totally having an entire conversation on the floor.
Off. Yeah. And he's like, so what's my role? Like he's ready to be in on this.
Yeah.
And it's just the cutest thing.
It was the cutest. I just could imagine this super sexy man bun bartending snake tattooed dude on all fours just toying with her.
And I think what I like, and I think what the meet cute honestly gets the message across about what their relationship's going to be the rest of the book is that, first of all, she's not worried about like impressing him. Like she gets into so many like weird situations and he witnesses them. Yeah. And he goes along with it. He's so playful and he just like in the midst of all that playfulness, he gets to know her. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. It's like, how do you do this? Yeah. He just like opens her up like a book. He just like, boop. It's amazing. So I let great. So
that's
scene.
My showdown scene. Good. So this is a tough one to pick.
This is a tough one. But I think that this book has so many scenes because I had so many backup scenes. I was like, what this one's good.
I know,
and
me
then
too.
This one's good.
Well, like the swing scene.
The swing scene. The whole swing scene that was prelude to my scene was fucking flaming hot.
We just had a whole conversation about that before we started the podcast.
It was, It was hot. So,
okay, guys, let's get into the breakdown.
Before we get to the breakdown, just like spoiler section, I want to talk about, so who did you initially like whenever you were?
Colin.
Okay. Yeah. Not that I didn't like Colin, but whenever I started reading, we get Blaire's POV, then we get Jesse's POV, and he's like, I'm like, oh, well, this is a second chance romance.
Yeah.
And I want to say that the blurb only mentions Jesse, mentions nothing about Colin. And so I went into this thinking Blaire and Jesse. And so I found myself, and like whenever I reflected back on the first time that I read it, I found myself just like, but she's supposed to be with Jesse, right?
Yeah.
You know, kind of second guessing myself. And I was like, but Colin's so sweet. And I'm like, but isn't she supposed to be with Jesse? And also Jesse's going through his stuff where you feel like he deserves to have a happy ending. So like, that really fucked with my mind because I was like, but Jesse needs an HEA. Yeah. So I was feeling bad about Jesse. And I was like, I feel like Blaire, didn't they have an awesome connection before he ran away to his, NFL trading deal, whatever.
Well, and I'm going to admit, she totally tricked me. Like, I originally was like, oh, Jesse, he's so cute. Yes. Oh, my God. Like, I was really rooting for him. And then Colin stepped in, and I'm like, holy hell, what's going on?
By the end of the book, probably about 70% in, I knew. I was like, okay, no, we're not turning away from Colin now. And I was like, Colin's end game. I was 100% committed to Colin by the end of the book. Yes. But like I said, in the beginning, I was like, no, Jesse.
Yes, me too.
Which
I'll agree to that.
I think that's what made Rachel Van Dyken's writing style so unique to me because I've never felt that way before. I usually pick a side in love triangles, whatever. Yeah. I think I've run across a lot more love triangles in YA. I think it just happens that way. I think that
well, that's kind of a YA trope,
right?
Exactly. Popular trope.
I know that I've always picked one person and I've always stuck to that. And so for Rachel Van Dyken, I was like, wait, but which one? Well, I don't know which one.
Well, and that's what I remember when you first recommended it to me. You're like, look, there's two guys in here, and you didn't tell me who was going to end up with her.
I refused.
Yeah, she's very good about non-spoiling for me. Yeah. Thank goodness. But I remember you saying, like, Juliette, you're not going to really know who he's supposed to be with at first. And you were totally right. Like, I was totally like, Jesse. And then Colin came in. I'm like, oh, my God. Like, wait.
Yeah, but I love him, too.
He's adorable.
So that's what I think makes her, and also because Blaire, her and Jesse never once kiss. They don't do anything.
Right.
Besides Jesse sending her some flirty texts. And she doesn't even reciprocate because the whole time she's investigating him. So it's not even.
She's trying to be professional.
Like a love triangle. It's like not your normal love triangle where there's actually feelings. There's nostalgic feelings towards Jesse. It's kind of like, oh.
It's the guy that got away.
Yeah. We once had something.
Yes.
But they never really rekindle it in this novel, which is, I'm just like, I'm so floored by how she pulled me
it was so clever.
This.
It was cleverly written. This is when I read, I was like, okay, this was my first Rachel Van Dyken book. And I was like, okay, this woman can write. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And then her other one that I read, the duet that I read after was Fraternize, and it follows the same kind of format where there's three POVs, and she doesn't just write love triangle. She does have just like straight up romances, like no love triangle. But anyway, I just wanted to say that. So let's get into our breakdown.
Here we go, guys. All right. So in the beginning, Blaire is hiding in the sewer with a camera to capture a cheater in the act. It is so funny. She's crawling through the sewer. Her business partner and best friend has lured him out of the bar. They're like in the alley or whatever.
He's like about to get down and dirty.
Yeah, he's about to get down and dirty. Like, nasty. I even remember her saying, oh my God, she's taking one for the team. Because like she let him kiss her. Yeah, she's like, ooh, girl, don't let him do that. It's so funny. So they started Dirty Exes because they had both been done wrong and were burned by their exes. Both been cheated on. And so they met, I think it was the night of the...
It was the night of both of them.
Both of them found out they were cheaters. Like, she went to get went to some wine.
Blaire walks in on her ex.
Yes.
Husband. I mean, that was her husband at the time.
Husband with her best friend.
Her best friend.
Yeah, on their bed. And
she runs to a wine bar. And at that wine bar, she witnesses Isla throwing her wine in the face. And I like the interaction because she's like, that's what I should have done to my husband.
She does. She didn't stand up for herself. And this actually plays into it, guys, because she never really got closure with him and told him everything that she should have.
Exactly. I think that plays a huge part in everything that happens in the novel with Blaire.
I agree.
Definitely it affects her.
Yeah, character motivation is right there.
Everything. It's right there.
So we talked about that. Blaire's ex was the comfortable kind of guy. And that's what's really kind of sad. She met him when she was at a low point in her life, which we'll talk about more later, why it was a low point. But she felt like he was the safe guy.
Right,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? And the fact that he ended up not being the safe guy is so gutting.
But that's what him being safe doesn't really... Nothing's added. Like there's there's no give and take. There's nothing. You don't need him for anything. And he doesn't need you for anything. So what's holding you together?
Yeah. She even says he didn't challenge me at all. He didn't push me out of my comfort zone.
Right. Exactly. It was just like safe, comfortable after something that happened in her life.
Yes.
Which we've all been there.
Agreed. And so they utilize her and Isla, her partner. They utilize Facebook to catch cheaters in the act and have racked up high profile clients in LA. Yeah, they're like making a lucrative business, guys.
Yeah. They're like very selective on the clients that they take now because they can like charge big bucks for it, which is really smart, honestly.
Yes, it is. I was like, ooh, this is awesome. And they said, they've never been wrong about a case ever.
Yeah.
So
dun dun dun.
Yeah, exactly. Bum bum bum.
But what happens whenever you have personal motivations in this?
Yeah, exactly. Well, this never ever happened. Okay, now it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So they have a new client, a socialite, trying to reconcile with her husband who has separated from her. But she only wants to reconcile if he is not cheating on her. So she wants him followed to see if he's cheating, and if he's not cheating, then she wants to try to make the marriage work again. Right. Okay, because they're separated, not divorced. So it's Blaire's turn to be the bait. They like switch back and forth. Like
Isla was the one in the alley.
Yeah, who took one for the team? The gross, disgusting.
So now
kiss.
It's Blaire's turn. Blaire has to be the bait for the client and see if he takes it.
Right. So that's where we're at. So I love it how she goes on a shopping spree to get her outfit in her mom bun and yoga pants.
Yeah, because Isla's like, you really need to change that.
She's like such a mess, y'all. She is hilarious. Like I was immediately in love with Blaire.
Yeah, I loved her too. It's like she gives no fucks, but then she's like, well, I guess I have to dress, like I care.
I know.
To attract.
I hate to say this is like me. I'm like going to the grocery store to get lettuce. Like I'm not going to meet anybody in Walmart. Yes, I'm going to see everybody I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
Exactly. So on the street in her yoga pants with licorice like falling out of her purse and all that, she bumps into an old flame, Jesse Beckett, former NFL quarterback. He's so fucking hot.
Of course she does.
Yeah, of course. Whenever she looks her worst, not her worst, but you know what I'm saying. So the history between Jesse and Blaire is that they met each other and it was like 3 weeks, like kind of whirlwind. And it was just like they had this like strong
immediate connection.
But then he got traded.
Yes.
And whenever he got traded, he was just like, I'm traded.
And then he didn't.
Bye.
Yeah. He didn't say anything
not like, would you come with me?
Would you come with me?
And so she was expecting like this was the one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so she thought he was the one, and instead he was the one that got away.
Yes.
And so she also happened to meet her ex-husband right after that romantic blow, which is what like kind of this is what drove her into her ex-husband's arms.
And I think that's exactly what her motivation was. Like, I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to go with this safe guy.
Yeah, like this guy is like nice, fun, comfortable. Yes. It's easy. It's fine. So anyway, so now that she bumped into Jesse, she's like, oh my God, now she's like going like freaking crazy. Like internally, she's like, Jesse.
Yeah.
I mean, hope. It's a bitch.
Yeah.
So she's never really gotten closure with her ex, like we said, which is why she feels so unprepared to see Jesse, because it's still like she's not in a great place either. But Jesse asks for Blaire's phone number and she does give it to him. So switch to Jesse's perspective. We get his POV now, and we see that his agent, like in hindsight, recommended that he leave a relationship behind because it could complicate his growing career. And he says, I shouldn't have taken that advice. But he was like, I was focused on my career. I was like, this is once in a lifetime. And he has his own issues that we'll discuss further. But he definitely thinks that he made a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as,
Yeah. And he says that he's been having a shit day until he saw Blaire and is really focused on the way that her genuine smile affected him. I think that those words, genuine smile, those were really kind of red flag because he says it seems that he's jaded with like media attention and like fake people and stuff like that. So that's why he's like very drawn.
All he has Blaire is like sycophants around him.
Right. Exactly. You know? And so we get a quote from Jesse, which is very interesting because we don't have the whole story yet. And he says, my fingers itched to text her, and yet a warning voice told me I shouldn't be doing any of that, not when my life was such a clusterfuck of insanity. It wouldn't be right bringing her or anyone else into it, which I think that this is because we do find out later on, he's the target and his soon-to-be ex-wife is the one wanting to know if he's cheating.
Right.
So he's technically not divorced yet, but I think it's important to have his POV too because at no point is Jesse painted as a guy who like wants to be a cheater.
Right.
And like is thinking in that way.
Right.
So I think that that's important to have those types of thoughts in his head. And I like having that because at no point during the novel do I find Jesse unlikable.
No, not at all. Like I liked him all the way through it. I just started towards the end to feel like sorry for him.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm so sorry. You're not going to get an HGA. So he's meeting a woman named Vanessa for lunch, aka his soon-to-be ex-wife. And he obviously, he would rather be anywhere else but near her.
Yeah.
He has a load of animosity toward her and he just says that their marriage was like a farce and she lied about what she wanted out of life. And so that's all we get. And I love the breadcrumbs. Like I've harped on this in multiple podcasts. I like it whenever we don't get info dump. I don't want all the background. I like whenever it's just kind of like laid out in layers.
Yes. Give us little pieces as we go.
And let us wonder. Let us wonder.
Let us wonder. That is excellent.
I want to guess, and I want to be wrong sometimes too. Yes. I don't want to be right, but if I am right, I'm also like, haha, I was right.
I'm taking notes, guys, as an author.
So we learn that Vanessa is obsessed with appearances and fame, and she begged Jesse to hold off on the divorce since her new book on their perfect marriage just came out, and it's on the bestsellers list. And she was like, let's let it have its attention.
Right, because paparazzi is like all over the place.
And she loves it. Loves it. And Jesse is a nice guy. And he was like, well, okay, I'll let you have that. He's too nice, though, guys. He's way too nice about this because she does not deserve any of this.
He should have cut
at
her.
All. Hell fucking no. He should have been like, get out. She's even living in the guest house on his property.
I don't even get that.
Me neither. He's way too nice to her. I'm like, she's a horrible,
because like her new house wasn't built yet or whatever.
Yeah, she bought a house and she needed to gut
go
the
get
whole
a fucking apartment.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Anyway, moving on.
Sorry. All right. All right. So Blaire, this was my showdown scene. So Blaire enters the bar where she has a description of her target and it's Jesse. And so immediately, of course, she drops down out of sight behind the bar. And she's livid because he asked for her number and his poor wife thought he was cheating already. So
she's like, oh my God, he's a cheater.
He is a
cheater.
Look,
he's having lunch with somebody.
Yes, he asked for my number and there's this other woman over there and what the hell's going on? All right, so cute bartender named Colin, his man bun and his snake tattoo.
Which I love how the snake tattoo has like, it's just like a continuing, just kind of like joke between them. She's like, the fuck is that kind of tattoo? And he's like, I got it whenever I wanted to be in like a motorcycle club.
Yeah,
whenever
like
I was
he was
young,
like very young.
Like 19,
he was like 19 years old.
Or whatever. And it's just hilarious.
It's like, it's a mistake. Get over it.
Yeah. And so like, I just like the dynamic. Way that they are.
The dynamic between them is so playful
real
and fun. I love it. So he nicknames her Spy Girl and she calls him Basement Dweller. She bases all on the fact that he's like tatted up.
Right, exactly.
And like
bartender. Must live with his mother still.
Like whatever. Yeah, he does
Little
not.
does she know.
Yeah. So he won't leave her alone. So she asks him to try and lure the woman at the table with Jesse away. And so he agrees, but he says he wants a date in exchange, his payment. So
I love how he likes her right off the bat.
Yeah,
and he never lets up after this. He never lets up.
He's so adorable. So Jesse appears behind Blaire,
which is hilarious.
It is so funny, and asks if she's stalking him. And Colin, of course, covers for her, saying that they were about to go on a date.
Yeah,
and
he was like, "My shift ends if you want to take that date now."
Yeah, if you're ready to go on that date. So the kicker is, though, Jesse is best friends with Colin.
What?
Okay,
I did not see it coming.
Friends. I did not either, and that was like a really awesome, like, I don't know, wrench to throw in there. Yes. So, it does sort of remind me of the movie She's the Man.
Me too, because it's like she likes him and he likes her and they like each other. And
it's like this big, it's this funny
like
triangle.
This whole relationship. It's just like, it's crazy.
That was 90s, wasn't it?
No, it was 2000s.
My God, y'all, I'm so old. If it's not 80s, I don't know it.
Snob.
I don't know. Snob. 90s and the 2000s blend together for me, honestly.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, so they all sit at a table, which is really interesting. Colin's like, I'm going to pull up the table here with you guys.
But I like how he's not like there the whole time because he's also tending
he's also tending bar.
Which he doesn't need to be doing technically.
No, he does not need to be doing that at all.
No.
Which we're about to find out. So Colin is like popping in and out, you know, and Blaire questions Jesse while playing the whole role of bait and everything. Yeah. But when Blaire asks if Jesse is seeing anyone, he says, "Not really," is his response. Okay?
Yeah, and all her internal monologue, this is all strikes against Jesse.
Yes.
She already knows.
Yes.
He's married. He's separated, but not divorced. And he's not being forthcoming about his status. He does not say, "I'm separated."
Exactly.
So this is all, and we also understand Jesse's point of view, though, because he doesn't want to bring her into the craziness. Like, I'm separated from my wife, but I'm also not divorcing her yet because she wants to sell her bestseller book.
Right.
It's just
He's
like
also
so much
it's
shit.
so complex.
And
it's like,
and I'm sure he wants to make like a good impression on her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
like,
very complicated.
Yeah. I'm separated, but you're still living in the carriage house and like, you know, like whatever. You know what I mean?
It's just too much to explain.
Exactly. So after Jesse leaves, which I thought was interesting, Jesse leaves and she's like, "I'm going to stay." So she stays. Okay. So Colin tells Blaire to spill the goods on why she is spying on Jesse. And so she does. She tells him, okay, about her history with Jesse, how they had these 3 amazing weeks and that she, you know, was really into him. And then her ex-husband and her current business. She tells him everything, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. Like she spilled her guts.
So it just tells me that these two have chemistry immediately, you know, that she wants to, you know, sort of open up to him. So then we get in Colin's POV, we see that he is genuinely interested in Blaire, but that her eyes had gone to Jesse every time during their conversation. And I love this freaking quote. Okay.
Me too.
This quote: "For once I was invisible, and I never realized how much it stung to feel that crackle of attraction and know it was one-sided."
He's feeling unrequited love.
But y'all, have we all felt this?
Yes.
I was just like, Jesus, Colin, yes. Like,
and like the thing about Colin is he's not the type of person to feel jealous. And so it's like, it's just an emotion
he's not the jealous type at all.
Deal with it.
But it also tells how he's already into her, like really into her.
Yes.
You know?
It's just a genuine connection was made and it cannot be denied, guys, cannot be denied. So Blaire uses her brother's invite to an NFL party because her brother's also in the NFL to spy on some more. She needs more opportunities. And this makes her have a good alibi for being there because Jesse knows her brother. That's how they met.
Right. That's how they met because he's in the
Yeah, exactly. So she hilariously splits her dress. This was honestly a backup scene for me for a showdown scene.
Like the dress that used to fit perfectly is like too tight.
She got a size smaller because she just liked the style. And whenever she squats down, because I think she runs into a waiter and she was trying to help him pick up stuff.
Yeah.
And
she scared him somehow.
She splits her dress and it goes all the way up to her hip. And what happens is she's wearing a white Grecian dress and she's wearing black Spanx. So she cannot possibly keep them on.
Yes.
So she decides, she was like, "Waiter, you have a waiter's corkscrew, don't you?" And he like gives it to her and it has like a knife on the side and she basically cuts herself out of the Spanx while the waiter's like standing guard. So it's just like so funny.
I have to stop you for a minute. The scene with this young waiter is so fucking funny.
Yeah, this was my backup showdown scene.
Laughing. It is so funny. He's looking at her like, "Ma'am."
Crazy
She's like,
lady.
ma'am.
Yeah.
She's getting all, it was so funny, y'all.
But she's like so dedicated. Because if it was me, I would totally leave if my dress was split that bad. But she stays there. And I love
hip.
This was also just like a little extra, but whenever the waiter was like across the room, she's like, oh, my little friend, and she like waved at him, and she was like, he waved back like a kid at a soccer meet waving to his mom, embarrassed.
Yeah, like embarrassed by his mother across the room.
Bye.
Like, hey, like stop looking at me.
That was
stop
funny.
talking to me.
So Jesse and Blaire dance at this party because he does show up without his wife, and the connection is still there. They still feel like that, and Jesse is feeling a little bit of guilt since he's technically still married, but only because he's being nice about Vanessa's book. And so it's like he does feel the guilt. He feels like he shouldn't be feeling this way toward a person. Like he's like emotionally cheating in a certain way, but like Vanessa's also not being truthful. You know, her motives are not her motives.
Right, which we haven't gotten all of that yet.
No, not yet. But Jesse notices Blaire's split dress and wants to take her home immediately. He's like, I can like see your ass cheek. Like,
and he's like, you know, I don't, and then he gets kind of jealous though. He's like, I don't want any of my friends
that's what he says.
You.
And like Blaire like likes it, but then she's like, no, he's a cheater. You know what I'm saying? It's like that dual.
It's
that dual thing.
Pull. Yeah.
So outside they run into Colin, who is jealous of his friend for the first time in his life because he's leaving the party with Blaire.
With the girl.
Yeah. And so Colin, it really hammers home that this is like the real thing for Colin. And he says, she's a type who would stay. I'd want her to stay because women like that were the ones you kept forever. A thriving relationship with my equal was something I'd always wanted, but I'd given up on. I was good for a quick screw. I knew how all my dates would end with nudity and several orgasms, but with her, well, she tempted a man, didn't she?
Oh,
so it's like
good.
We get the sense that Colin's kind of been used.
Yes.
Because he is so freaking rich.
Yes.
He is on that scene.
The guys, he owns the bar.
Yeah, I think he's worth,
and he owns like the
later,
hotel. He owns like a bunch of stuff, right?
We find out later he's worth like $50 million.
Yes.
So I mean, like he's just rolling in it.
Yes.
And so he's feeling kind of jaded for also how Jesse feels, just like the farceness of the scene that they're in.
Girl Blaire who is genuine to the core
and just quirky as fuck and just hilarious. Crazy. So Blaire once again questions Jesse because they're alone on his relationship status, and he says, my ex doesn't like dogs. So he does say my ex. And whenever she's like, oh, ex-wife, are you divorced? And he says something like that. So he's being evasive. Yes. She already knows the answers. He's being evasive. I wish he would have
just said
I wish he would have said like, I'm separated.
Yeah, I'm separated, but it's not official and we're working.
But you know what? Yeah. We still got to play into Blaire being a little bit biased because she's like, she doesn't want Jesse to be in the same category as her ex-husband. But she's also, this is why her not getting closure with her ex, she's still not over it. And so this is personal for her. She first of all shouldn't have taken the case.
Yeah.
because of her personal connection with Jesse. But now she's biased and she cannot look at Jesse as just another client, and so she's judging him even harder, and she's not looking deeper into other motivations like Vanessa's motivations, and she's not researching as well as she could have done. So I mean, I feel like that, honestly, I forgive her for not looking deeper like later on in the story because she's so personally invested in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can forgive her that. She's kind of being blinded to it. But the next day, Blaire complains to Isla about Jesse flirting with her, and when his wife has written a tell-all book about their perfect marriage. Like she's read this book, like, oh my God, look at this. Like he does all these things for her, which goes to show you. Social media and all the perception. It's not always, but it seems.
It is perception.
Not always, but it seems.
Exactly.
So from Jesse, we learned that the book was all lies, that she basically made up the whole thing. And so Colin, I find this interesting. Blaire calls up Colin because she needs a favor. She needs to get into Jesse's house to see if there's any evidence of cheating.
This is
and
so funny.
Colin's still humoring Blaire.
Yes.
He's like, all right. And so like calls Jesse like, hey, we're supposed to work out today. Gets him out the house so Blaire can go spy.
Yeah.
And she like goes in as like a maid, and then whenever, like to sign up for a new maid position. And then she gets back, she climbs, she was supposed to have left by this time, but she climbs the wall back into the house. And she gets in and she's like looking in the pantry, and she's just like,
she's
all of
doing
these cereal boxes are freaking
shit.
full. Like, what the fuck is wrong with Jesse?
Yeah,
and like,
why are you buying all this cereal that you don't even eat?
Not even
like,
eating
what's
it.
happening?
Your house is black and white. It's like the walls are blank.
Like OCD
so
nightmare.
first of all, this is important. His style bothers her, in the way that he lives bothers her, because guess what? Jesse's also interested in perception, and that's because of his background. We'll get into that a little bit later, because Colin kind of gives her that info. But so we kind of see how different.
Yeah. They're very different.
How different Blaire and Jesse
true,
are.
Because we're getting, before we even know who she's going to end up with, that her and Jesse really don't suit.
Not compatible.
They really don't suit.
That's not who she needs.
Yeah.
So she gets caught because they come back and she's still in the pantry. And she texts Colin and she's like, I'm in the pantry.
It's so funny. Oh my God.
So Colin covers for her because, so this is it. This is Blaire's point of view. And she goes, I needed to get out fast. I grabbed my cell and texted Colin. And seconds later, I heard a ping. Jesse says, another one of your sex buddies? Colin pauses and then, oh yeah, but this one's been really hard to tame. You know the type. A bit schizo, but so hot you don't care that she asks to twist your nipples while she licks your nose. Jesse says, seriously? And Colin says she likes noses and snake tattoos. Loves them. Which Blaire does not like his snake tattoos.
She hates
it's just
snake
so
tattoo.
funny because Blaire's listening to all of this.
Yes, and he knows she's listening. So he's just playing.
It's great. So Colin asks for Jesse to like get lost or whatever. And whenever Jesse goes upstairs to go like fetch a shirt, Colin goes up to Blaire and like, what the fuck? And then he's like, well, I cover for you, so I need a date.
Yeah.
See, he's like trying to get his opportunities in with Blaire, which I love it.
He's so adorable.
He is adorable. He's fucking hilarious. I want him.
I know, Colin. Oh my God. Okay, so next we have Blaire and Isla meet with Vanessa. Vanessa. Already, I'm sorry, all the Vanessas in the world. I'm saying it with such loathing. For the first time in person, and she is just as horrible as Jesse says she is.
Yeah, in Jesse's point of view, we've heard about how horrible she is, but we really haven't seen it. But like,
yeah, and then we even see in Blaire's point of view that she truly believes that she made him who he was. Like, you know, it was all me. Like, I'm the one who made him. Is, you know,
like that's why she wants to stay with him, because they're perfect together.
They're perfect together. I'm the one who made him as famous as he is, and like, you know,
he loves
I deserve
charity.
this life.
I can help him with that. I'm like, God, it's so superficial. It's insane.
She's ridiculous.
I hate the way that she orders like a sparkling water with fresh mint or whatever. It's just so stupid.
It's so pretentious. It's so pretentious
to Blaire and Isla. It's horrible.
Yeah, and then you got Blaire here with her messy bun and licorice hanging out her lap.
Just didn't fucking care.
I know. Anyway, so Blaire does go out on a date with Colin, and he gives her the lowdown on Jesse.
Yeah, like kind of background. Like,
yes,
I think that Blaire is like pumping him for information. Like, I need to know. I need to
and
know this like,
stuff.
Okay, I'll let you in on a couple details or whatever. Yeah. And if like what my information, if it's good, then you know you'll owe me something.
Right.
So he has ulterior motives for revealing this, but you know,
always
good ones.
So we learned that Jesse has always chased perfection, stuff he didn't have growing up. He always wanted that life.
Yeah, he grew up poor.
Yes, he grew up poor. So he wanted the money and the security and all of that the NFL
which is
could
understandable whenever you grow up that way and you crave security.
Right. And so I think that was one reason he listened also to that agent who told him, don't get caught up in this because you've got big things coming. You know? And so Vanessa, of course, seemed perfect, you know, because she comes from wealth and everything else.
Right.
And even though Colin warned him away from her, Jesse still fell for Vanessa's facade, which is sad. You know, he wants to prove that he made it, and Vanessa was a symbol that he did since she comes from a family of money.
Right.
You know?
And it's sad because she tricked him into it. Like she made him believe that she wanted family.
Yeah, I want to do this. And
she wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Like she never fucking went into teaching.
She wanted to be the big caregiver.
Basically,
nurturer.
Her actual goal in modern times is being an influencer, basically. She doesn't actually have like a job.
Right.
She's just a person that other people want to be, and she's going to post about it saying her life's perfect. So
she's basically the icon of superficiality.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? I mean, that is what she is.
So and Jesse was like her meal ticket. Like, here's a person that will do my bidding.
And it's so sad because, you know,
he's
she
a nice
really
guy.
took advantage of him. You know,
absolutely. He's such a nice guy.
So, and is still taking advantage of him.
Yes.
So this is where Blaire finds out that Colin is Vanessa's brother.
Yes, plot twist. I love that part. Whenever that happened, I was like, oh my God.
I was like,
so many connections.
So complex. And so we also find out that something happened between them, but Colin is really vague about their past. It's something that changed the dynamic between Jesse, Vanessa, and him. And we don't
just
know.
A little breadcrumb. Yes. And I like that. I like how it unfolds.
It was good. So we have another mystery. We don't quite know what it is. So, Colin takes a kiss from Blaire as payment for that information on Jesse.
Yeah, he does. Beautiful.
It was a good kiss.
Yes.
So Blaire feels like her connection with Jesse has severed at this point, and that this thing with Colin feels very, like we've been friends for years, like I've known him forever, like there's this connection,
I find that I really gravitate towards that kind of feeling, but because I feel like it's not just like a lust feeling. It's like you feel comfortable with this person in a way that goes beyond just lust. Like
the attraction isn't just physical. The attraction is, this guy, I don't know.
Challenges me. Just like she said that her ex-husband did not challenge her.
Yes.
He does.
He does in all those ways.
He's not even the type that she would normally go for. And it's just, he's exactly what she needs.
The kiss sort of like seals the deal where she's like, oh
exactly,
shit.
Because the thing about Jessie is she remembers like it was the best kiss of her life, but it also happened years ago. And so like this is like something that like really sparks. And so Jessie's fading into the background at this point.
Yeah. After that kiss, he's fading. Yep. Sorry. So Blaire is still determined to find proof if Jessie's cheating, and Colin only agrees to help her because if Jessie is cheating, they need to nip it in the bud because Vanessa would take him for everything. She would take his money. And so he is basically, I'm with you because I want to protect him.
Yeah, exactly.
Protect my best friend because he knows what kind of person his sister is, which is really also kind of sad.
It is. I don't, I mean, it's very sad. The brother-sister relationship just is not there.
It's not there at all, So Blaire comes to Colin's party the next night and he is so into her, y'all.
Yes, because like we get his POV like in the beginning. He's just sitting there waiting. Like he has all these people surrounding him. So many people surrounding his huge mansion. Yes. And he's just looking at the door waiting for her to arrive. And whenever she does, he is just like blown away. And I love it. I love it so much.
And I love it. He's I love how he dresses like the hired help and stuff. Like, because he wants to blend in. He doesn't like to stand out. That's sort of Colin's,
yeah, they
mode.
Had a good quote about that. Just like, and I feel for Colin.
Yes. And so he, so we kind of see him sort of mingling around and stuff. And then we see that he feels super possessive when Jesse gets there. When Jesse gets there, he gets super possessive over Blaire and eventually talks to Blaire into leaving the party, which is, guys, his own birthday party. He's like, I don't care. Whatever.
He just wants to be with her.
Yeah, he's like, wherever you're going is where I'm going. So he doesn't actually want to be. He doesn't care with all these people that are there at all. No. But I love this quote he tells her. He says, "You're wondering what the hell you're doing in here instead of out there. The past always looks better through I got fucked over glasses. You think you still want him. You're wrong."
Which is so true.
Yes. I love that he's the one that tells her.
Colin is dropping truth bombs. And Blaire knows it too, but she's still, it's like, I feel like her, not obsession with Jesse, but the reason why she's still
hung up
on this thing is because he was such a nice guy. She does not want to believe that he has become this cheater, this person, this type of man that she loathes.
Yes.
Because it's like her ex. It's like almost like it's happening to her again, even though it's not happening to her. You know what I'm saying? It's like she's reliving it because, like I said, she does not have
closure. She
doesn't
want to believe that this good guy from her past could be just like all the others.
Exactly. But then she has Colin right in front of her. Colin does not want the night to end though, and like invites her back to like his penthouse and stuff like that. And so they just like hang out, which is awesome.
Guys. So we also discovered that Blaire discovers that Colin is 29 and she's 35.
Which she's like, oh my God, I kissed a baby.
Yes, I'm robbing the cradle.
And Colin is like, that does not faze me at all.
Yeah. So, but he's a lot more mature, even though he's very playful. I mean, he's a mature man.
Yeah.
And then I love this quote by Blaire. I always place myself in the shoes of the victim every time I try to rescue others from the same fate, never thinking about how easy it is to justify an action when we want that other person so badly.
I like this because I feel like her perspective on it, it's changing now.
Yes.
What she does is kind of changing a little bit because she gets a text from Jesse just saying like, oh, what are you doing? Whatever.
Yeah.
And so she's just like, it would be so easy if I didn't have Colin right here.
Yeah.
What would I do? What would my response be to him? If I wasn't part of these dirty exes, would I still respond to him knowing what I know? It's just like I never thought about that perspective, how much you can justify yourself doing it. And I think that it's very telling that she's only now thinking about this side of things whenever she's with Colin, whenever she's talking things over with Colin.
Right.
And he's making her better. He's kind of healing her in a way that makes her head more clear.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important to know. She's growing, she's evolving.
It's awesome.
And it's because Colin brings out the best in her.
Yes. So Colin is able to get Blaire to open up about herself and examine her reasons for being in the PI business and about how she never got closure on the ex. And that's really what this is all about.
Right.
You know? And so she also finally just gives in to Colin, and they have a guys, super
beautiful
hot scene on the swing.
I'm getting a little like hot and heavy just thinking about it.
Yeah, we really want hashtag swing cunnilingus to be a thing right now.
Hell fucking yeah.
So he has these swings in his penthouse
like living room.
They're like around the fire. Like they're just like little swings. So she sits on one and starts swinging. Well, of course, he like pushes her. When she comes back, he grabs the edges of her panties and they just come off when she swings back. And
he does.
Jesus, y'all.
Yeah,
seriously.
He does.
She gives him he gives her the Lord's kiss.
The Lord's kiss.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And then they fall asleep in bed together without having sex. Because he's not looking for fulfillment for himself.
Yeah. He just wanted to pleasure her, which is
love
nice.
That. I'm sorry. I like that kind of thing. So Blaire tries to gracefully slip out in the morning because she's still kind of fucked up about her ex. Still. She doesn't trust this thing with Colin. She doesn't know where it's going. She knows his reputation as a ladies' man. And she's just like, how can I ever be enough for him? Like, it's very much she's insecure because she thinks that it's something wrong with her.
Right.
That's what. Right. Obviously, something's wrong with her. Jesse left. Her ex-husband cheated. So it's just like, how can I hold Colin, this younger guy who's a multimillionaire, who has his pick of like these socialites of LA,
he could possibly want.
So understandable how she's feeling vulnerable. But Colin's like, no, I want you to stay for breakfast. And this is my scene. And he seems to know all her fears and insecurities and isn't letting her get away with it, which is telling that they're just connected so deeply already. He cooks her the eggs, and whenever she asks why he isn't eating them, he says, oh, I don't eat eggs. I just have them for baking. And it throws her for a loop because she's looking for the hidden meaning and everything and overanalyzing the fuck out of all of their interactions. So while Colin is in the shower and Blaire's eating her eggs, Blaire walks in and asks why he cooked her eggs. And he decides to get honest because at first he was just like, oh, it's fine. Yeah. And she's like, no, why? And he goes, because I like you. And maybe, just maybe, I figured if I fed you, you'd stay. Oh. And she's like, we both have work. And he was like, well, then come back after. And it's just like, he just wants to be with her. And she just like, decision made right then, right there. They have hot shower sex. And she's like, Tarzan, this Tarzan man with his hair flowing down his back.
Fucking right, baby.
It's just so erotic.
Oh my
I
God,
love it.
It's so good.
So even whenever Blaire tries to pull away later, like stuff happens, Blaire tries to pull away later and she's feeling vulnerable. Colin won't let her, and I like this. And actually, he gets a little bit of advice from Jesse, which Jesse doesn't even know that he's giving advice to Colin about Blaire, which is hilarious.
It's just funny.
And he shows up at her house with flowers and red licorice, which he always likes to have hanging around, and doesn't care that she's in ratty pajamas, like literally with holes in them. She spilled ice cream on herself earlier. She's just like looking like a hot mess. And he just like, I don't fucking care. And he was like, oh, you're into unicorns. Like, because it was like unicorns. He was like, I would have brought mine. It's just like nothing phases him. He's just so cute, amazing. And then whenever he asks her, he's like, what's wrong? And she says, everything. And it's like a whole Jesse cheating drama. Like she found out that he was meeting with a woman and took pictures and whatever.
Yeah.
And Colin responds with, tell me one thing, then we'll work on the next thing and the next after that. And I'm just like,
so good.
You need a man that's there for the good times and the bad.
Yes.
And he's there for it. So Colin tells Blaire, he opens up as well, tells Blaire about his late wife.
Yeah, then we hear his tragedy.
And how they how it all played out between Vanessa and Jesse. So what happened was they were all friendly. He and his wife got married young, and one night they were all hanging out, Jesse, Vanessa, Colin, and his wife, and Vanessa wanted more wine. And Colin's wife is the only one sober enough to go get it. And in the process of going to get more wine, she got into a car accident and she died. Yeah. So it was like Colin kind of blames Vanessa a little bit for that because it's like if you weren't so fucking insistent on needing more fucking wine, what ifs are terrible.
What ifs are awful.
Awful.
I mean, you know, obviously we know it's not really her fault, but I can also see his perspective.
And I'm sure it gutted Vanessa too. I'm not saying that it didn't affect
obviously,
her.
Yeah.
But Vanessa also has other points against her.
Yes.
After all that, everything just spiraled. Like Jesse and Vanessa got married anyway, even though obviously it wasn't a good idea. Yeah. And also, he opens up that Vanessa actually had an abortion, which was shocking to Jesse because he didn't even know about it until after the fact. And Vanessa claimed to want kids, but then her excuse is like, it's going to mess with my career. So obviously she never wanted kids and she lied to Jesse about that whole thing.
Yeah, I just don't like that.
This is all of her motivations for marrying Jesse were a lie. She never went into teaching. She never wanted to have a family.
She wanted money and fame.
Exactly.
That's what she wanted.
So it's like now we get Vanessa's true colors and why her and Colin aren't close because of Colin's wife and also because of the way that she treats Jesse.
Right.
So Blaire fully commits herself to Colin, realizing that he is the real deal and that he doesn't shy away from the hard times. And they're already actually communicating and pushing each other out of their comfort zones. Yes. Like she has that like clicking aha moment. Like we're talking about shit that's just like deep, heavy. This could have him running for the hills. I could be running for the hills, but we're still opening up to each other. So that's important. Then we switch to Jesse. Jesse gets a call from his publicist saying that they need him to be a last-minute replacement for a charity. And he had been wanting to represent this charity like for a long time. So he wants Colin to come with him. Colin always is like kind of like his wingman. And especially now that Vanessa decided to invite herself on the trip. And that's because Blaire did send her that picture of Jesse meeting with this blonde woman for lunch.
Yes.
So Vanessa's like suspicious and she's like ready to like catch him. And so Vanessa goes to Blaire and Isla's their place of work. Vanessa wants Blaire to come on the trip to Cambodia because Vanessa knows that Blaire and Jesse have history and she wants Blaire to be bait so that she can prove Jesse is a cheater.
So that she can take all his money.
Exactly. This whole scene definitely shows how awful Vanessa is because she just like
super manipulative.
So manipulative, blackmailing Blaire because and I mean like Blaire and Isla have Vanessa's number at this point and know that she wants manufactured evidence of cheating so that she can blackmail Jesse. But the problem is that Vanessa is also blackmailing Blaire and Isla and she's starting to like ruin their credibility, their business, all kind of stuff. And so it's like they're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Forced into this situation.
And coincidentally, Colin also wanted Blaire to go on this trip anyway. So it kind of works
he's
out.
like,
So they all go to Cambodia on this trip. And all hell breaks fucking loose on this trip.
But
okay?
I love all the sneaky scenes between Colin and...
There's so much sneaky scenes. I mean, there's so much we haven't even gotten to. You've really got to read the book to get the full effect.
Yeah.
But
we're not going to go into all of them, but
shit just goes down because obviously with all the players in the mix in one place, there's no way. There's no way that this is not coming out.
It's crazy.
You know?
It's so good. So Jesse thinks he's finally going to be free of Vanessa after the Cambodia trip. He's surprising her with finalizing the divorce papers as soon as they get back. So that's his plan.
He's excited. He's so excited.
Yes,
he's looking to his future.
Yeah. So he's like feeling really good at this point. But he thinks he can move on with Blaire. That's his plan. And gets really flirty with her.
Yeah, like on the plane and stuff.
And Colin does not like this at all. I love we get in his point of view. He says, this is my woman. Like he is like claiming her in his head. And it is the fucking sexiest.
You know how Juliette is with her claiming scenes.
I love my claiming scenes. I love it when he's like, mine.
But you know, I get it because it's like, it's sexy whenever a man knows what he wants.
And that's what it is. It's not like he's going, you're mine, and like chaining her to a chair or some shit.
No, he's like, but this is mine forever.
I love her.
You can't have mine
She is
forever.
mine. Exactly. She's my forever. Very much. And so it's such an interesting dynamic because they're all like playing these roles, these parts. You know?
Colin knows that Blaire is supposed to be bait. Like, Blaire didn't hide the fact that Vanessa's legit blackmailing her.
It's like, oh shit.
It's just a clusterfuck of just craziness.
Oh my God. So Blaire doesn't like it either, though, when he's really flirty with her, but she just feels like caught because of Vanessa forcing their hand.
Fucking Vanessa. She ruined everything.
But I love, like, at the night before they kind of get into the later night activities, whatever, Colin warns Jesse, because that is his best friend. He says, don't take the bait. And Jesse doesn't really understand what he's talking about.
He's like, okay.
But he's just giving his bestie, his bro.
He's giving him a chance. Like,
yeah, like,
look, I know what they got planned. Like, in my head, I got to give him a little
please,
warning.
Bro, don't do it.
Like, please don't. Like, I know that Blaire's tempting. I know that the promise of something better than Vanessa is so tempting to take, but you've been so strong throughout this whole fucking thing. Just hold out, man.
If he had just like divorced her, then we wouldn't be here.
Until the divorce, but not with Blaire.
Yeah. So later, when Vanessa forces Blaire to be alone with Jesse, Blaire is obviously shaken. She is literally like shaking, trembling.
Yes.
Okay.
She doesn't want to do this.
Yeah, she doesn't want to do it, but she just feels like she has to. And Jesse notices and then realizes that Blaire is the bait that Colin warned him about. And so it all just blows up.
Yes.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot of shit happens.
A lot of shit happens. So just as Blaire was going to explain to furious Jesse, Colin appears to break up their interlude because he can't stand the thought of Jesse and Blaire, even though Blaire was trying to do her job. Like he's so afraid that Blaire is going to kiss Jesse, he can't even manage it. He's like, I fucking can't take it.
Colin jumps in.
He's like bust up in the middle. Isla jumps in.
Right,
Vanessa jumps in. It's a crazy clusterfuck, y'all. It is hilarious. It's awesome. So Jesse blows up on everyone because he's like, y'all all lied and tried to trick him. When the woman he had been meeting with and who Blaire took pictures of was his divorce attorney.
Which is where P.I. Blaire. Do your research.
Yes.
Go research her too. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I would go see what.
But I think she was just too emotionally into this one.
Exactly, which is why I forgive her.
Yes.
Because in the beginning of the book, whenever Isla finds out that Blaire and Jesse have a history, she's like, we should not take this case.
Right.
And she thinks that she can handle it, but it's too personal. You don't take cases like this. This is why you don't do it.
She just wasn't thinking clearly.
No.
I think if she had been thinking clearly, she would have looked into it. And I agree with you. Totally. So Vanessa bursts into fake tears, biatch, with her
I fucking hate her.
crocodile tears, whatever, go the fuck away. But Jesse is like done, which I love that part. He's like had enough of her. He tells her to fly home and there will be divorce papers waiting for your ass.
Like, go away.
I'm done. I'm done with you. Mm-hmm. So I really love that part that Jesse got some vindication from this.
Right, exactly. He's like, I'm done with this. He finally gets to abandon the nice guy routine, and he's just like,
when he realizes what a bitch she really is. I loved it.
I've been as nice as possible.
He's been
through all the shit that you've done to me. I've been so nice, and you still not enough.
Yeah.
So fuck you.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Rightfully so.
Fuck you, Vanessa. So anyway, so Colin and Jesse know that Vanessa is a toxic person who came to find out had been the one cheating on Jesse the whole time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so sad. She even tells Jesse, she was like, I didn't even know if the baby was yours or not. And it's just like, oh my God, rub salt in the wound.
You're a fucking whore too. Like, she's on top of being a bitch.
Just a terrible person.
She's the worst. Like, poor Colin. That's your sister. I'm so sorry. God, that sucks balls. So anyway, so Jesse forgives them for being pulled into the nasty Vanessa web. He kind of gets it. Like, she pulled him in, and so he kind of understands.
It's explained because Isla goes to Jesse and tells him all about the blackmail.
Yes. He's like,
tells him, like, look, this really is not Colin's fault. It's not Blaire's fault. This is what your fucking crazy ex-wife was doing.
Current wife, not even ex.
Exactly.
If he had done things right, then she would be his ex. But so anyway, that's where we're at.
Oh well.
Yeah.
He got there. That's what matters.
Thank goodness.
back in LA, we get back from Cambodia, the craziness. Blaire, this is like a couple months later, and Blaire runs into her ex-husband who is shopping for wine. First of all, can I just say, I screamed whenever Blaire was just like, oh, the Prisoner's a great red blend. I'm like, that is my fucking favorite wine. Yes. I was like, the Prisoner, I love it.
Oh, we should have been drinking that tonight.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, I'm saving it for Game of Thrones. But I did.
Yeah, baby.
So anyway, so even like she's a bigger person. She's like, if you're looking for a red blend, the Prisoner is a great blend. Talking to her ex-husband and her
she's like
ex-best friend.
Cordial.
She's very cordial.
Yeah,
to
it's
them.
Still with the bitch that cheated on.
Exactly. Yeah. So they actually, which I like this, they actually say that they're sorry for the way things went down. Mm-hmm. Like they apologize for her walking in that way and all that, and like, I'm so sorry we hurt you. And Blaire needed that because she wasn't even.
It was very painful. That was her best friend.
Yeah, and she never yelled at them. She never asked for an explanation at all.
She just walked away.
And so, yeah, exactly. So Blaire accepts their apology, and she's getting the closure that she needs. And she's also in a good place,
right?
Relationship-wise, right? Like she's just in a good place. Well, Colin shows up and is all snuggly. He's all snuggly with Blaire.
He's also fucking hot.
He's beautiful. And they're like jaws drop.
Yes,
like,
it's awesome.
This hot guy, ex-husband's kind of like, wait, what?
Yo, this is like the dream payback.
Yeah, exactly. Dream. Oh. Wait, and it gets better because Jesse walks in, Isla walks in, and Jesse is a famous football player. Yeah. Okay, he might be former NFL, but he's famous.
Yeah,
and so the ex-best friend who's currently with the ex-husband is all like, you're Jesse Beckett.
God.
You're Jesse Beckett. And like they're fawning over him. And Jesse, I love the way that Jesse plays into this. Jesse's like, oh, well, Colin here, he owns this hotel, this hotel, this hotel. He's the one that you really would want to be autographed by.
Yeah.
Because he knows what he's doing. He wants them to know that Blaire is with a person that is like fucking a ton times better than you.
A gajillion times better than you.
Oh, you think I'm good? She's actually dating someone who is far richer than me.
And look at his hot man bun.
People. Exactly. They're superficial people, and so you throw superficial shit in their face.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So anyway, I just love it because Jesse's like, please tell me that was the ex-husband, because if not, I would sound like a douche.
I was a total dick if otherwise.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
So it's very cute. And then later on, Colin proposes to Blaire with a ring at the bottom of a whiskey glass, which is a big thing for them because this is hilarious. We never explained this, but Jesse often orders whiskey in public because he thinks that that's what he should be drinking, whenever Colin's like, he really wants beer.
Yeah.
And they have this whole conversation, Blaire and Colin, like, if you want beer, man, just drink beer.
A beer.
Like, they're just like talking about Jesse with Jesse not there. Yeah. And so like they both like whiskey.
Yeah.
And it's such a very cute note to end on.
Very
like
cute.
She chokes on her whiskey whenever she's like, what the fuck is that? And he was like, well, it's a 6-carat engagement ring.
6 carat, what the fuck? Like, Blaire's not gonna know what to do with that.
No, I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna lose it. So anyway, I just really, really, really enjoyed this book.
I did too. I loved it so much.
I hope y'all gave it a chance because it's truly amazing.
And if you're not like a love triangle person, like, trust
this is the love triangle for you if you're not a love triangle person.
Exactly, because it's not what you're thinking. It's just written so well. Rachel Van Dyken did an amazing job.
She really did. I love it a lot. And then the second book is Jesse's story, so he does get an HEA, just not with Blaire.
Guess who it is? So you're gonna tell him? You're gonna tell him who it is?
No.
Okay. Go read the blurb.
Anyway, so that's been fun. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and we look forward to the next one where we'll be reviewing A Promise of Fire by Amanda Boucher. Thanks so much for listening.
This goes out to all the fangirls.
Life's better with a little HEA.